Gen Z isn't playing the same financial game as past generations. They're done with outdated advice, overpriced degrees, and the idea that working 40 years for someone else is the only way. They're building smart money habits that actually work without waiting for permission. Money isn't easy right now, but Gen Z isn't backing down. Even with 60% living paycheck to paycheck, 70% believe they'll surpass their parents financially. They're not waiting for better conditions. They're building wealth on their own terms. Here's a breakdown of the Gen Z money habits that are reshaping what financial success looks like. Forget outdated advice that doesn't fit the modern world. These strategies are practical, adaptable, and most importantly, proven to work. But before we go any further, yes, this is an AI voice, but a real person wrote this. I earned my financial freedom and I'm not doing this for money. I don't like narrating videos, so I use an AI voice. Ignore that the voice is AI. The video is worth it. Check out the full details by visiting the link in the description. Number 1. Prioritizing financial literacy. Gen Z isn't waiting until they're drowning in debt to learn about money. They're tuning into podcasts, following finance creators, and reading books that actually break things down in a way that makes sense. They know financial freedom starts with knowledge, not luck. Instead of blindly trusting banks or so-called experts, they're taking control and making informed decisions. With a world of resources at their fingertips, they're absorbing everything, from investing basics to tax loopholes, without paying a dime for a fancy seminar. The goal isn't just to learn, but to apply what they know. And that's exactly why they're on track to be the most financially savvy generation yet. Number 2. Budgeting with purpose. Budgets used to mean restriction, but Gen Z flipped the script. Instead of looking at it as cutting back, they see it as taking charge. They decide where every dollar goes, making sure their spending aligns with what actually matters to them. Fancy budgeting apps and automated tracking make it easier than ever, so there's no excuse to stay in the dark. They're not clipping coupons like their grandparents, but they are making sure their money is working for them, not vanishing into mindless purchases. Gen Z financial habits like this prove that financial stability isn't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Small, intentional changes are adding up to big results. Number 3. Embracing digital banking. If you're still waiting in line at a brick-and-mortar bank, Gen Z is already 10 steps ahead. They're managing their money with a few taps on their phones, using online banks with higher interest rates, fewer fees, and better features. Automated savings, instant transfers, real-time spending alerts, all standards. Traditional banks can't keep up, and Gen Z knows it. They want speed, convenience, and complete control over their finances. With fintech innovations making it easier than ever to manage money, they're eliminating financial stress and making sure their cash is always working in their favor. Number 4. Investing early and consistently. Gen Z isn't waiting until their 40s to start investing. They understand that time is their biggest asset, and they're putting their money to work now. Micro-investing apps, low-cost index funds, and commission-free platforms have made it simple to start, even with just a few dollars. They're ditching the outdated belief that investing is only for the wealthy, proving that small, consistent contributions can build real wealth. No chasing meme stocks or gambling on crypto trends, just smart, strategic investing that compounds over time. And while others hesitate, Gen Z is quietly securing their financial future. Number 5. Prioritizing side hustles. One income stream? That's a financial trap. Gen Z is stacking up multiple sources of cash, knowing that job security isn't what it used to be. They're freelancing, running online businesses, selling digital products, anything that builds extra income without punching a clock. Passive income isn't a dream, it's a goal, and they're taking the steps to make it happen. More streams mean more security, more freedom, and more options. These smart money habits are giving them flexibility and control that older generations often lacked. Number 6. Living below their means. It's not about being cheap, it's about being smart. Gen Z isn't falling for lifestyle inflation, where every raise means a bigger car payment and fancier vacations. They're keeping expenses low and focusing on what matters. used cars instead of brand new ones, thrifted fashion over designer labels, affordable rent instead of maxing out their budget. Every extra dollar they don't spend is another step toward financial independence. The result? Less debt, more savings, and the freedom to make choices based on goals, not financial pressure. These Gen Z saving habits are setting a foundation for wealth. Number 7. Practicing conscious spending. Impulse purchases? Not happening. Gen Z takes their time before pulling the trigger on big buys, researching everything and making sure every dollar is worth it. They care about value, quality, and whether a purchase aligns with their long-term goals. They're more likely to spend on experiences than stuff, and they're intentional about where their money goes. It's not about deprivation, it's about control. Conscious choices like these are some of the most impactful Gen Z money habits. Number 8. Emphasizing sustainability in purchases. Gen Z isn't just spending, they're spending with purpose. They know every dollar has an impact, so they choose brands that align with their values. Fast fashion? No thanks. Wasteful products? Not worth it. They're prioritizing sustainable, ethical companies and steering clear of anything that feels like a cash grab at the planet's expense. This isn't about jumping on trends, it's about making smarter financial choices that support long-term goals. Saving money while supporting businesses that care? That's a win on all sides. Number 9. Building emergency funds. Relying on credit cards for surprise expenses is a losing game. Gen Z understands that financial security means having a safety net, so they set aside cash before disaster strikes. Even small deposits into an emergency fund add up, preventing last-minute panic and expensive debt. Automation makes it effortless, keeping savings on track without constant effort. Unexpected medical bills, job changes, or car repairs won't throw them off course. Among all Gen Z financial habits, this one ensures peace of mind. Number 10. Seeking financial communities. No one builds wealth alone, and Gen Z knows it. Instead of figuring things out in isolation, they plug into financial communities for advice, motivation, and fresh ideas. Social media, forums, and online groups provide real-time insights that keep them sharp. They share wins, warn against mistakes, and hold each other accountable. This isn't just about learning. It's about surrounding themselves with like-minded people who push them forward. These Gen Z and money conversations are what turn goals into realities. Number 11. Practicing transparency in money matters. Talking about money used to be taboo, but Gen Z doesn't have time for that nonsense. They're open about salaries, investments, and financial struggles, knowing that silence only benefits the system, keeping people in the dark. Splitting bills? They make it clear up front. Negotiating salaries? They swap numbers with friends to avoid getting underpaid. Money doesn't have to be a mystery, and Gen Z is proving that open conversations about Gen Z money decisions lead to smarter outcomes. Number 12. Using cashback and rewards programs wisely. Every purchase has the potential to pay them back, and Gen Z isn't leaving money on the table. They stack cashback offers, use rewards credit cards strategically, and take advantage of store perks without overspending. Free money for spending on essentials? That's just smart. Free money for essentials is just smart. They don't let points expire or waste time on gimmicks. Only rewards that add real value make the cut. These smart money habits allow them to reinvest every dollar saved. Number 13. Investing in personal skills. Degrees are expensive, but learning doesn't have to be. Gen Z is all about upgrading their skills without racking up debt. Online courses, certifications, and hands-on experience give them a competitive edge without a massive price tag. Coding, digital marketing, and high-demand trades are just a few of the areas they're building expertise in. More skills mean more opportunities, and these Gen Z investing habits are aimed at themselves as much as the markets. Number 14. Being financially independent early. Gen Z isn't relying on parents to cover their bills well into adulthood. They're setting themselves up to stand on their own, taking control of expenses and making financial choices that allow for long-term freedom. Moving out, covering their own insurance, and handling everyday costs without outside support gives them confidence and control. The goal isn't just to survive, it's to thrive without strings attached. Financial independence isn't something they wait for, it's something they build. Number 15. Practicing minimalism with finances. More stuff doesn't mean more happiness, and Gen Z gets it. They focus on quality over quantity, choosing to spend on what adds real value to their lives. Owning fewer but better things keeps finances in check and reduces wasteful spending. Minimalism isn't about deprivation. It's about removing financial clutter that doesn't serve a purpose. Among Gen Z saving habits, this one keeps their bank accounts and minds clear. Number 16. Building credit responsibly. Gen Z isn't treating credit like free money. They know that a strong credit score opens doors, so they handle it with care. Paying balances in full, keeping utilization low, and avoiding unnecessary debt keeps them ahead. Credit cards aren't used to fund lifestyles they can't afford. They're tools that work in their favor. Instead of racking up high-interest bills, they use credit wisely to boost financial credibility. When it's time to buy a home or finance a big purchase, they're already in the best position to get approved with the lowest rates. Number 17. Embracing community-based solutions. Saving money doesn't have to be a solo effort. Gen Z is tapping into shared resources to cut costs and make life more affordable. Co-living spaces, carpooling, tool libraries, and group discounts allow them to stretch every dollar further. Instead of buying into the idea that success requires going at it alone, they work together to find smarter ways to handle expenses. This isn't about sacrificing independence. It's about maximizing efficiency while keeping financial goals intact. Number 18. Tracking subscriptions and recurring expenses. Subscription services love draining bank accounts quietly. Gen Z isn't falling for it. They regularly audit memberships, auto-renewals, and sneaky fees, cutting out anything that doesn't provide value. Streaming services, apps, and monthly deliveries get reviewed and adjusted. No more paying for forgotten subscriptions or services they barely use. Every dollar freed up goes towards something that matters. Number 19. Setting short-term financial goals. Big financial wins don't happen overnight. Gen Z keeps things realistic by setting short-term goals that lead to long-term success. Saving for a trip, paying off a small debt, or building a starter investment fund gives them quick wins that build momentum. Tracking progress keeps motivation high, making it easier to stay on course. Every milestone hit reinforces the habit, turning financial responsibility into second nature. The focus isn't just on someday, it's on progress that happens now. Number 20. Choosing affordable alternatives. Brand names and high price tags don't impress Gen Z. They know value isn't always tied to cost, so they seek smarter options. Thrift stores, refurbished tech, and DIY projects keep their budgets intact without sacrificing quality. While others overpay for status symbols, they focus on getting the most out of every purchase. Saving money doesn't mean settling. It means knowing what's worth the price. Number 21. Supporting local businesses. Money spent in the right places has power. Gen Z understands that supporting small businesses keeps communities strong, so they choose local over big corporations when possible. Instead of throwing cash at chain stores that don't reinvest in their neighborhoods, they back businesses that make a real impact. Quality, uniqueness, and ethical sourcing matter more than convenience. Every purchase becomes a statement, one that aligns spending with personal values. Gen Z isn't waiting around for financial freedom. They're making it happen. They're ditching old-school money myths, taking control, and proving that smart habits beat big paychecks every time. Every move they make, from budgeting to investing, sets them up for long-term success. It's not luck, it's strategy. Anyone can apply these habits and start building a future that isn't controlled by debt or financial stress. The only question left is, what are you waiting for? Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Also, don't forget the link in the description.